Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the WB Mason Coaches Report. My name is Rachel Vogel, and today I'm joined once again by the head women's soccer coach, Simon Riddiough. Coach, what a weekend for you. It's Monday. Long weekend is now behind you. So how are we doing today?
Yeah, I'm a little bit tired, but all's good, really. We're moving forward.
Excellent. Well, we certainly have a lot to chat about this week. Quick recap, your team went 1-1, a brilliant 4-0 shutout over Brown on Friday, 100-degree heat, playing a preseason favorite team who is fresh, and your team, quite honestly, made it look easy. And then you turn right back around less than 24 hours after that Brown game. You sat on a bus for 5 hours. You trekked to Penn State, faced a top 10 team, another preseason favorite. Again, the cards against you with Penn State being fresh on their home field, but you challenged them in every sense of the phrase, gave them all they could handle, and just want to know what your overall thoughts are on the team's performance this week. I know last week we talked about how you're going to learn a lot from your team this past weekend. So what are some of those things that you learned?
Yeah, I'll go chronologically. I thought Brown gave us some challenges. We're very dangerous on set pieces. They've got some really talented players, athletic, they're fast, they're aggressive. I think Brown are going to be very good in this season and in the Ivy League, and I thought we were quite fortunate to play them in their first game, where they're not as fresh or as sharp as we are or as fit as we are right now, but I think in a couple of weeks they're going to get to where they need to be, and Kier's done a tremendous job with them. But having said that, under tough conditions we stepped up, and I thought in many regards for 70 minutes that was probably the best soccer Hofstra's played this season. Decisions were very good in the first half, whether to go long or play short or capitalise on chances. I thought for many times in that game we played very well. And obviously this time of season you're going to have some lulls in a game. You're never going to play a good 90 minutes, but we got a good 70 minutes under the belt, and to me that was very important leading into the next game, which was Penn State away. And as you've mentioned, we faced a lot of adversity playing number 7th in the nation, and they've had a week off. And we just played a very good Brown team on the Friday in intense heat. And I was super proud and impressed with how our team stepped up to the challenge, and it was really fun to be involved in it. And I thought the whole squad was really pushing everybody to get better, and the reserves on the sideline were pushing our players and demanding better from them, and it was just a really cool environment to be involved in, and I think it bodes well for Hofstra in the future.
I want to dive in a little bit deeper into that Penn State match. Like you said, Brown, you dominated on the offensive side of things and the defensive side, and it showed in the score. Penn State, you fell 2-1, but you dominated in shots. You dominated in possession. Shots were a season high for Hofstra. Skylar Kuzmich had some outstanding saves to keep that to a 2-1 margin. And how you played, in my opinion, did not at all reflect the final score. So talk a little bit about that match and what you were proud of coming out of that one.
Yeah, Penn State's the perennial power in the Northeast. Everybody in college soccer wants to be Penn State from our region. And Erica and Anna have done a tremendous job of creating that culture and that competitive program, and they've won a national championship and all those wonderful things you get from a big time Power 5 school. And for us, it was a matter of, can we compete? Are we at that level? And it's the first time in many years that I felt that we were on an equal par with them. And they created some really good chances, as most good teams do, but Skylar stepped up and had an awesome game. But overall, I thought we gave them as much as they could handle. And I thought we were unfortunate in the end, considering all the challenges. It's tough enough to go to Penn State on any normal day under equal conditions, but to go on a 48-hour turnaround playing against a fresh Penn State, it takes an Herculean effort, and our girls did that. From we challenged each other and we played extremely well, and pushed Penn State to the brink after 48 hours. So I was tremendously proud of how we did it. Not necessarily, 2-1. You can lose 2-1 and get outshot and be under a lot of pressure and sit in and make it difficult. We didn't. We played our game. We stepped up and we pressed, and we bore the fruits of that, and we could have won. We had chances to win. And again, the leadership on this team is wonderful to watch, and they're just a real pleasure to coach, and I'm just proud of them.
It's almost like one of those instances where you're almost more proud of a 2-1 loss than you are of a 4-0 win. And in my opinion, it was certainly very promising to watch that Penn State performance. But shifting focus on the front end of things, Miri Taylor, the CAA Offensive Player of the Week, she was all over the place. And a player whose name we did not mention last week, let alone last season, Ellen Halsett, who got her first couple starts this weekend, and she showed up, the game-winning goal, first goal of the match against Brown, a couple assists, assisting on Miri's goal at Penn State. She handed that perfect ball to Olivia Pierce in that last minute of play against Brown. So how do you see those two working together and syncing up on the front end of things and working together to give Hofstra a successful weekend?
Yeah, Miri was a beast this weekend. She was relentless, and when she plays that way, she's unstoppable. And she can get frustrated, and she's shown over the years to get frustrated in certain situations. She didn't this weekend, and when she doesn't, she's a handful. Ellen played behind Sabrina Bryan all last year, and we know how tremendous a player Sabrina was. So now we're getting to see Ellen play with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more consistency, and we're getting to see her output. And again, I just think from top to bottom, this team is special. And Sheps has been a tremendous leader. Porter was basically a fourth coach on the field, dragging people around the field, telling them where to go and how to go. You got Jordan Littleboy leading. It's just the way this team solves problems on the fly is amazing. And we give them the blueprint. We know we try and prepare them as much as possible, but every team comes with a different wrinkle. But our girls just find a way to adapt. And to me, that's probably the most impressive part of it all. Miri, 2 great goals. Ellen Halsett was a thorn in the side to Penn State's left side of their field on Sunday. So it bodes well for us. But again, we've got to keep pushing along, and we've got to keep challenging our team, and we've got to keep getting better, because as good as we were this weekend in both games, we need to get better to get to where we strive to become, and that's the goal.
And one last player who I want to mention, Christa Gastinello. She picked up her first 2 career points this past week, assisting on both of Miri's goals against Brown. She was a key player last season, and she's a key player now. And when I was watching the game and others are watching the game against Penn State and Brown, I would say her name has been said by the broadcasters as many times as the leaders. So she was kind of really all over the place this week. And I just want to know, how is she involved into a leader this season on the field? Because, again, she has really stepped up as of late.
Yeah, I've got to give Christa credit. We kind of challenged her probably last week. We kind of told her she needs to be better. She needs to become a leader. She needs to get involved offensively. As a fullback, we wanted to create opportunities and get assists. And we needed to play with a bit more urgency. And this past weekend, she did that. And that's awesome to see as well. A lot of times you challenge players and they either don't believe it or they don't want to get challenged, and they just stick in their normal role or responsibilities. But Christa stepped up, and she was very good this weekend. She created a couple of wonderful opportunities against Penn State as well. And I can't pronounce the last name, so I'm glad I'm not the commentator. I can spell and pronounce Christa, but that Agostinelli I have no clue about. So It's great to see her show up. It's great to see her play well. And again, we're getting good quality minutes from a lot of players at the moment. And when you do that, good things happen.
And the last question I want to ask you, and I'm sure the fans are wondering about Mary Taylor's goal from distance against Brown. She got the pass, she looked up, she picked out that exact spot and she hit it and she let it fly. Is that something you see her doing consistently, or did she just kind of pick it out of her bag of tricks, or was it something she felt in the moment? Just talk a little bit about that.
We've spoke about that over the last couple of years. She's got a tremendous shot, but in many times she doesn't use it. She always wants to do an extra pass or something like that. So it is something we've been discussing a lot with her. It's something she worked on this week individually, but she has to dictate when she's not going to use that shot. And fortunately, she used it against Brown, and it was a tremendous shot. She puts tremendous power on it, and it moves when she gets that power behind the ball. It moves, and it's even if it's central, it's difficult for the goalkeeper to save because it's moving so much. So Mary's starting to put everything together, and when you see that from a senior player, it's fun to watch.
Certainly fun to watch, and we've enjoyed seeing her evolve into an upperclassman over these past 2 years. So shifting focus ahead, you've got 2 Ivy League games up this week, on the road at Columbia Thursday night and home against Sunday against UPenn, 2 great teams. I know Columbia coming off a loss against Stony Brook, and UPenn, it was a great game when you played on the road there in 2019. Just give us a real brief rundown of what you may see from those 2 teams this weekend.
Columbia is a local team, and Tracy's done a really awesome job of developing a tough team. And they are tough. They're athletic, they're physical, and they're organised. And I think 2019 they were top 50 RPI team or top 60 RPI team. So they're a good team. They're a good program. Their coaching staff does a great job. So playing away in Columbia is always difficult. It could take 20 minutes to get there. It could take 3 hours. So you've got to deal with that. And it usually means you're leaving earlier than you want to, but you're sitting on a bus for a while. And it's going to be a really tough game, and they'll be hungry. As you mentioned, they just lost a close game to Stony Brook away. So they'll want to get back on track and get a win. And again, if we apply ourselves, not get ahead of ourselves, it'll be a really good game. And UPenn, like I said last year, we beat them 2-1. I think Mary Taylor and Porter scored that day. Usual suspects. And they were a very good team as well. And I think they were top 75 last year. So we scheduled really good teams this year because we knew we had a good team. And the idea behind this year's schedule was to prepare us for the NCAAs, to get us to a position where we can challenge and get to the second round and potentially the third round. And that's what we've done. We've got a lot of teams in the top 100 on this schedule, and a lot of power teams. And we're proud of where we are. We're proud of where the program is, but we want to get more. We want to be a bit selfish, a little bit greedy. I want to challenge our players to reach their potential, and that's what we're doing right now.
And the road is just beginning. Plenty of games left to build that. But in the meantime, we'll take it one game at a time. Again, fans, Thursday evening on the road at Columbia, 7 p.m. start. You can watch that one on ESPN+. And then turning around Sunday at home, UPenn, that one's at noon. You can watch on Flow FC. Coach, congratulations on a spectacular weekend this past weekend. We look forward to seeing what you can do next. And thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thanks a lot, Rachel. Always appreciate it.
Always appreciated. And that was head women's soccer coach Simon Riddiough, and you've been listening to the WSOC Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com.